Tonight's stories.
Second pregnancy. Cookout.
First date test. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Maddie, and I'm here with...
Brando.
Sam.
I learned how to Louisiana jig last night.
Who that?
All right, well, then show us.
You're going to show us. Do it in frame.
I'll do it later.
Yeah,
I'll do it later.
Frame.
The second, I realized...
You promise something you can't.
I can. I will do it later.
Okay, well, then do it.
I'll do it later.
I want to see
The
that.
other
You
thing...
won't do it right now.
The other thing...
I want to see the
It is funny because it's like... Y'all got the singing, and you know I participate because I got a song in my heart.
Yeah.
And I be feeling it when y'all be singing sometimes, and I just want to be in it. But my singing is dancing. I sing with my body, and I was like, it's crazy because it's like they don't know that. They don't know that.
I know. Show us
We're
now.
giving you an opportunity
Yeah,
right now.
Louisiana
Show
jig.
them the Louisiana
I'm trying to see
dance.
them legs jig.
I got to build up. It's a lot of cardio.
Hey, let
That's the
them
only thing.
legs jig.
So you just said we sing and you dance.
Yeah.
And you just said you guys never see me dance. You don't know what I'm capable of, which is true. He's a great dancer.
He's a great dancer.
But then when we tell you, hey,
taught
go
me how to
ahead,
do this thing.
do a little move, do a little move.
He taught me how to do that.
He's not interested.
Well, it's like, and, you know, we can't just give them instant gratification sometimes. You know,
So you gotta hold on.
you gotta wait it out for a
I'm
second.
trying to see them legs. jig.
Just hit the like and subscribe just for that. We
Okay,
just,
I guess it's mine.
it's like, you know, we wait, right? We wait it out, and we just let it happen, you know, just like a cookout or
Sings
something,
with
like
his
this first
body.
story.
He sings with his body.
We've got a long title here and then just a little bit of words. So most of the story is kind of in the title.
I love it.
All right. Am I the asshole? My husband will invite his family and friends over without telling me until the day. He then expects me to clean, run to the store, and prep/cook everything. I finally just decided to leave the house last time he told me because I only had 4 hours till their arrival. He canceled. So that's the title.
Well, that's the title.
I need limits
Wait.
on titles. I need you guys to synthesize your story because
That's the title.
you're a bad storyteller. You told us everything.
You told us everything.
I want to be surprised by something.
All right. Here's the rest of it.
Okay,
Get them off Reddit.
you are. Yeah,
kicked off.
just for the title though.
I was downvoted all the way down.
The thing is, his family is constantly judging and talking about each other. So when he says, it doesn't matter, they don't care, I know and he knows he's full of it. Also, it's not just tidying the house. We're not regularly stocked in foods or drinks to have people over. When I get home, I asked what he was planning on having for dinner, and he responded, I don't know. I guess it's good they aren't coming over anymore. Now he's sulking, saying I'm the problem because I just can't go with the flow. I've told him multiple times I just need a couple of days' notice to get things in order, but he insists that I'm just difficult, uptight, and uncooperative. Am I the asshole?
No.
I don't think so either. I think it's like, you know, we haven't talked about it in a long time, but weaponized incompetence. Him being like, I just don't understand why you're like making it a big deal. It's like, well, she's doing the big part of the deal.
Right.
You're just enjoying it.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, babe, so this is happening. I'll show up. That's it. That's all you do. And then she does everything else behind the scenes that you just think makes it such an easy time. You're like, oh, it's so easy. We just have everyone over and all this stuff is just done.
It just
That's because
happens.
somebody's doing it.
Right.
So, yeah, you're not the asshole for that. You might be the asshole in these two's eyes for the title,
Purely the title.
Yeah, it's the title for me.
but
And it
besides
doesn't
the
reach
story,
what he's doing, so you're not the asshole.
yeah,
for me.
it's
The
not
title's-
everyone sucks here.
It's close.
Brandon's like, no, everyone does suck
No,
here.
everyone sucks here.
Everyone sucks here.
You for a different reason, not
title's
what you were
crazy.
saying. No, but also, you know, I've been, you know, just upgrading my life a little bit, you know, working on things. And one thing I'm starting to get better at is planning things all the way through. So it's like hearing these stories now of like the guy's just like, yeah, it'll happen. It'll be fine. It's like, nah, because the stuff I do plan, I'm like, no, I literally have to sit. Like I take a day to think about everything I need to plan for and everything I could be missing. And sometimes I'll even ask people. So,
Yeah, because when I think about weaponizing competence, I do think in society, culture definitely conditions women to be put into that role of trying to take care of everything, trying to plan for everything, and men are traditionally not having to do that. But what I would ask men to see is, especially this guy, is I think about even at my job, to assume someone's going to do something, a lot of work, that's crazy. Like, I'm assuming you're going to do that. As a husband, if you're my partner and I'm just assuming all this work is going to be done, that's not a place that I want to really be in. I would think that I know there's going to be effort taken, even if you're better at it, even if you're doing that. I'm like, I don't want you to be putting on all that work, all that expectation, all that effort. I want to help with that. It doesn't. Some people like lie on this and like, well, she does it all the time. She's good. I'm like,
that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter.
You should want to help because you want to lighten the load of your partner. I think that's literally the best part of being in a relationship is that you can lighten the load. That you don't have to do everything on your own. You have like a person you can go to and rely on.
And then plus, well, at least for me, I also see it as like a way to have like some sort of creative outlet within the event. Like, I think back to like the documentary watch party I had, and it was like I thought about everything. I wanted to do like door entry tickets, but I just ran out of time. I was tired that day. I was like, I need a nap. I'm not going to the store. But I had like the day before, I literally bought all the like the snacks and stuff, and I was like, ooh, it's wintertime. Like a hot chocolate bar would be lit. And so I was like, yeah, let me do that too. And it's just cool. Like, you not only are helping your partner, but you get to contribute in the experience that whoever comes over is having. And I don't know, at least to me, after planning the few events I did, I was like, yeah, like, so like when Madi wants to do something, I'm like, hey, yeah, sure, I'll help for sure. And I think I have like a couple times when you're having events here, but yeah, I was like, it's fun to me.
Okay, so this next story is, am I the asshole for saying that my brother-in-law and his future wife can't sleep in our bedroom while we host them on their honeymoon?
Can't sleep in our
bedroom.
My brother, who?
My brother-in-law and his future wife can't sleep in our bedroom while we host them on their honeymoon.
Yeah. Oh. If you're hosting, does that mean I'm there too? Yeah, you can't stay in my bedroom.
I didn't realize me hosting made me not have a room anymore.
They're like, hey, it's our honeymoon. Get out.
Hosting just overwrites the mortgage? Okay.
You got the master bath and we're married now.
Okay. I, 35 female, and my husband, 36 male, are fortunate enough to live in an area of the world that's very beautiful, and as a result, frequently visited for honeymoons. My brother-in-law, 30 male, and his soon-to-be wife, 28 female, are getting married in August and want to honeymoon in the area where my husband and I live. They asked about a month ago if they could stay with us on their honeymoon. We agreed, they're family, and are also tight on funds. We're happy to help them and host. However, they asked my husband last week if they could stay in our bedroom on their honeymoon. We have a 2-bedroom house, and our guest room has an air mattress that's used for when friends or family stay over. Otherwise, it's my work-from-home office, hence why we don't have a typical mattress in there. My brother-in-law didn't really get into specifics of why he didn't want the guest bedroom/air mattress, but the gist seemed to be,
no, we know.
We don't think an air mattress is honeymoon appropriate. When my husband asked me about it, I was honest with him and I said I wasn't comfortable with his brother and his new wife sleeping in our bed on their honeymoon. My husband agreed with me. Apparently, us saying no to this request has caused some issues in my husband's family, specifically with his sister saying we should just let brother-in-law and his future wife stay in our room as it's their honeymoon and they shouldn't have to sleep on an air mattress. We love everyone in this scenario, especially brother-in-law and his future wife, and don't want to cause a rift, so my husband is sort of leaning towards acquiescing to their request. However, I'm not down to change my mind on this. It honestly really grosses me out because I believe that the reason they want our bedroom is so they can comfortably bang during their honeymoon on a regular, not air mattress. Am I the asshole?
So
no.
I'm trying to get the logic of the family. So like
Yeah, the
y'all
family,
just supposed to we're supposed to give up because they wanted to save money on the honeymoon. I'm just supposed to allow them to put a hole through the mattress that I
They gonna
paid for.
pop it. They gonna pop it.
Oh no, you not, nah, bro. And then nah, then I gotta clean the nah, you good.
No. Yeah.
Just go back to find a hotel. Cause ain't no way.
Especially, it's like probably the most universal time that almost 100% they're going to have sex
Stuff
is
is
on the honeymoon.
down.
And you want to do it in my bed?
And so specifically, like, honestly, I feel like some people might be like, can you find somewhere else to stay? Because
That's
I
what I
know that's
would
what you're going to
say.
be doing most of the time. But we're like,
If
you know
you're
what?
trying to
Yeah, you
get
can
it
stay
in,
here.
If that's important, you pay for it. Man.
Go be as loud as you want to somewhere else.
Or
And
just buy
they're
me
willing
another
to
air
be
mattress
like-
when you break the first one.
But they're willing to be like, yeah, you can come stay here because you're low on funds. But now they're like, well, can we sleep in your bedroom?
That's wild.
No,
There's the outdoors.
this is our private room. We're allowing you to stay here. This isn't like a must that you will be staying here. We're allowing you to do
Yeah.
that. We're definitely not allowing you to stay in our private bedroom.
Right.
That's crazy. That's
And the fact that you asked that and now you're mad at us for that is honestly deranged.
I just imagine they go through with it and just sleep on the air mattress. Just like all here's and I'm just like, bro, that's so embarrassing.
Because I'm not even mad at them asking. I feel like brother-in-law had to shoot a shot. Maybe there's a chance.
But don't
But
get mad.
getting mad after is crazy.
You can't get
That's
mad.
such a reasonable thing to say no to. And again, with the family, like we always say, the family is crazy. I can't. Would the sister let this happen in her house? Would she be like, hey, brother wants to come in and sleep and do stuff in our bed? That's fine.
Our personal bed.
Our personal bed.
I feel like some people, like when they have siblings stay with them, they're like, you're not staying in my room on my bed, whether you're doing anything or not. Even that for some people is like,
Yeah.
no. So yeah, knowing that that's what their plan is, just imagine you let it happen and then the next night after they leave, you're just laying in the bed and you're like, it feels different.
It's the feeling, something happened. You just feel everything. You get a black light. You're like,
You try and get up and
The ceiling.
you like try and get up and you hear a creak and you're like, it's never creaked before
never
for me
done
just
that.
getting up.
They break the bed.
Now it'll always creak.
the bed's on backwards. It's like upside down. You're like, what did you do?
The bed frame's just like cracked in all the
Oh, my.
all the tension spots.
I can imagine like one of my old roommates was dating a guy and they were getting it in all the time. And there are people who I think they could have sex anywhere because I was like literally in my office and they were in the living room. That's definitely attached. And they were they were going at it hard. And I was like, I just closed my eyes. I was like, gosh.
Is that you have a door in there?
Yeah, I took it off because I'm like, I don't need it anymore. But when they were there, it would let me close it to separate the living room from the office.
Wow. I'm super. Did you have a conversation with them after that to be like, can you not in public areas? They're like, one's like doing the dishes and the other one's just like standing behind them. You're like trying to get
They were
some
never
food.
that crazy, but I did because was there, and I was like, he was like maybe like 17, 18. I'm like, yuck, he's still young. Don't be doing this when he's here. That's crazy. For me, I'm like, I don't like it, but I'm also not gonna like stop you. You're paying rent here.
Nah. I gotta stop. That's crazy.
I would
It
say,
was
yeah.
crazy.
If it's the common areas, that's a little crazy.
It was so crazy to me, and they were just like, oh yeah, but they were always doing it everywhere.
Top comment, this is in quotes. It's their honeymoon and they shouldn't have to sleep on an air mattress. Remind sister and the rest of your family that no one, let alone you or your husband, are forcing them to spend their honeymoon in your home. That was their choice and their request. Your guest bed happens to be an air mattress. If they think an air mattress isn't good enough, they are free to choose any other location that isn't your home. So.
Yeah, I agree. This is so straightforward. You're not wrong. I can't just get better family. I think that's a lot of our answers. Family's bad.
Yeah.
It's like they don't get in their shoes at all.
You don't think.
They have this weird moral thing that they think things should be a certain way. Oh my God.
It's like, it seems like almost every family's like, oh yeah, just do it for the family. And it's like not even considering.
There's no boundaries, I guess, that you can have with your family.
It's more rare for the family to have boundaries or protect OP than it is for them to be like,
just let your brother have sex in your bed.
Well, I guess that makes sense,
saying.
Right? If like there's generational, not necessarily curses, but like things that a family carries.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how like abusers, usually the family protects the abuser.
Yeah.
And it's like, even though that's not always the example, whatever the negative act is, usually for whatever reason, because it's easier instead of fighting the wave, the family's just like, just push it under the rug, get over it.
Which is interesting because I think a lot of times if it's a stranger or a different situation, they're more likely like, you should step up or you should like say something, but it's different when it's their family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Summer is almost here, but the heat has arrived early with our sponsor Quince. I think this is your time to refresh your closet, but don't waste your hard-earned money on pieces you only wear once or for just one season. Quince changes that. Their clothes are timeless, lightweight, and far more elevated than anything else at this price. And they don't just stop at clothes. Everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. By cutting out the middleman, Quince gives you luxury without the markup. Working only with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I use Quince, and I'm really happy with my sheets I purchased from them. I was in desperate need of new sheets. I tried some website that talked about luxury sheets, so I went and bought them. And let me just tell you, they didn't last as long as they promised, and they weren't the best quality. So I finally decided in March I was going to get some sheets. I got the bamboo sheet set that helps regulate my temperature, and I love them, but it's definitely going to come in handy this summer. And I have my eye on some plus-size linen pants, so I don't think Quince has seen the last of my credit card. Give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/CLP for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/CLP to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/CLP. Thanks to our listeners for supporting this podcast, and thanks to Quince for sponsoring this episode. Am I the asshole for wanting my daughter to move out after a second pregnancy? If you have kids, Brandon, I know you want kids. How long are you planning on being like, my adult children can stay until, is there a limit that you can to like help out your children as much as possible?
A limit like a hard date?
Or like age? If they do something or wherever, or is it just like, depending on the circumstances, if our relationship still goes well, I don't really have an age of like, I'll help out my children to a certain extent as much as I can.
Yeah.
And that might include them living here if they can't afford to live somewhere else.
I think as far as staying with me, as long as you're following my rules and abiding by that, I'm like, you can stay as long as you want.
Yeah.
But I know it's just becoming harder and harder to move out on your own. So pushing the person I made and just like letting them flounder at like 18, I can't imagine myself doing that. I would definitely... I don't think I would make things about... I wouldn't even say anything about it. I just feel like, whenever you're ready, you're ready. But as soon as you start acting crazy, I'm like, okay, either follow me or you got to get out.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I also saw, I think we were talking about this sometime, but there's a comedian named Ali Sadiq, and he was like, as long as you don't do anything egregious, I'll never make it hard for you to like come back after you leave as an adult, because I'm just as a father, as a parent, I'm supposed to look out for you to the best of my ability. And a little part of that is just, if you fall, come back home. You don't have to struggle to find it out. So yeah, I don't think there would ever be a date for me, but yeah, definitely got to follow the rules.
You're a parent for life.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah, it doesn't stop when you're just 18.
Yeah.
When they hit
What about
18.
you?
I think I would probably do like what my mom's doing now, where depending on the circumstances, if the relationship is good, like for as long as you need to be here, you can be here.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're not making my life hell by you being here, and you're adding, and I'm not cleaning up after your messes, you know, then yeah, you can be here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What if you were like running a popular podcast out of the basement?
Of her?
Yeah.
Like if my child was running a popular podcast out of the basement of my house.
Yeah. How would you feel about
It depends on how much I need the space. Like if I per se had also a popular podcast that I was running out, I'm like, can we share the space? You know, shooting days for me are, Tuesday, Thursday.
Right.
You can't be here on Tuesday, Thursday expecting to shoot, as long as she understands that.
Yeah.
Then I hope we wouldn't have a problem. Okay. Am I the asshole for wanting my daughter to move out after a second pregnancy? I allowed my daughter and granddaughter to move back in with me after a split with her boyfriend. She came with nothing. I helped her get a car and buy clothes and toys for my granddaughter. When she started working, she paid a quarter of the rent, $300. As the years moved on, we had a good relationship in taking care of my granddaughter. I made sure my granddaughter got to go to summer camp and horse camp. I recently started looking for a home to buy so they no longer have to share a room. I found an affordable home. We moved in, and a couple of months later, my daughter told me 1 week before that she was delivering a baby. I couldn't tell she was pregnant because she's already overweight and it just blended in.
Oh, that is wild. You're the asshole for that.
Crazy.
I was very upset and she couldn't understand why. I had been telling her in the past that if she wanted to start a family with her new boyfriend, she would need to move out. Now I bought this house I don't need just so she can raise another baby. She said it won't change anything. I refuse for the father of the baby to move in, and I just feel deceived. My daughter is telling me she doesn't want to live with a man, and the reason she didn't tell me she was pregnant before I bought this house is because I'm so hard to talk to. I told her at 32 she should have told me she's pregnant and will be moving out on her own, or at least make plans to move out on her own. Instead, she wants to stay with me in the new home with a new baby and my granddaughter. Do I have a right to feel betrayed? Am I the asshole?
See, this is the thing where I think it's coming from an American perspective too, because before I said there's no age, but 32 with a kid and another kid, I'll be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do all this. I do think OP has like embraced the grandchild and like doing all this stuff for him, but I don't know if I want to do all this. But in other cultures, it's like very common to have a multi-family home where people are just all living together in the house. They're all sharing resources and helping each other. Mm-hmm. But for my American brain, I'm like, 32 and you got kids and...
Yeah. I think also coming from that mindset of liking a multi-generational house, mm-hmm. I like the idea of like what was happening, even though they didn't do it because they wanted to do it. She did it because she needed to move in with her mom. But I do think at this point, it feels like a roommate situation. And that's where it might be messed up. Because like you're saying, it just sounds like grandma or OP just doesn't want to live in a house with a new baby.
Yeah.
Because she's not saying it. The daughter's going to need help.
Right.
And if there's only one person to do that, then of course she probably is going to want or need grandma or OP to step in. And OP sounds like she doesn't want to do that, which is fair. And the fact that she's hearing about this a week before she's about to give birth. First of all, that comment was kind of crazy to me.
It wasn't even necessary for the story. I don't think
you could just say she wasn't showing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she was pregnant.
We don't need to know that. That's messed up.
But her being upset that, I do understand where she's coming from, where she was like, I feel like this is just being thrown in my lap. And she purposely waited until I bought the house because she was like, if they were going to move out, which I'm not comfortable with this, I want them to move out, I wouldn't have got this house.
Right.
And OP's daughter even said that she knew that. And that's why she didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's manipulative. And that's grounds right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and the daughter didn't want to live with the boyfriend?
Yeah, she says she doesn't plan on living with anybody. Like, she doesn't plan on living with a man.
But you can have children with someone, but you don't want to live with them?
My daughter is telling me she doesn't want to live with a man. And the reason she didn't tell me she was pregnant before I bought this house is because I'm hard to talk to. So I guess that's what she said.
Wait,
That's what she said. She's hard to talk to, which is why she didn't say anything. But I also feel like she probably knew what the mom was going to say. And she knew that the mom...
that's immaturity at age 32 that you can't.
Yeah.
You're an adult now with going to be 2 kids and you can't have a conversation about your living situation.
Yeah.
If someone's really doing you a favor, doing a lot for you. I get it's your parent, but I do think their responsibility should lessen as you get older. You shouldn't rely on them on so much.
Yeah.
And I think this is a lot.
Seems icky. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Something doesn't seem right about it.
I think if you think about it in the perspective of a roommate situation, it just feels really unfair to be like, I moved here because I wanted you to maybe have more space for yourself. And, we're living together, but you didn't tell me you're about to have a baby.
Yeah.
And it feels like a co-parenting type situation where she has the mom is the village that's helping to raise, her daughter's baby. And she didn't agree to it. It's just not fair. And I think she does have a right to feel deceived because that's what it sounds like. A week until she's about to give birth.
That's wild.
Because also after she gives birth and she needs to rest, who's going to take care of the baby?
Right.
I know some single moms have to do it, but that doesn't make it not extremely difficult.
Right. It made me think of, gosh, I don't know why I've not watched 90 Day Fiancé in
Me too.
2 years.
It's been a long time.
But there was one couple that lived in Kansas, I think. They were definitely Midwest, and he was from Africa. And they were going to move into the parents' house. And I think they had a kid too. I think that's actually kind of like the situation. But the boyfriend was living with the parents. And I was just thinking about how a lot of their issues was like how uncomfortable that was to just be these 2 sets of families with these kids in this house. And the dad was trying to do his best to not step on their toes, but he's footing a lot of the financial bill, and because the guy from Africa couldn't work because of the visa, and it was all this stuff. And I feel like those situations just add so much stress in an already stressful situation. Just having a child is going to be stressful, and adding these extra things on top of it, these not ideal things, make something even harder than it should be, and it can cause things that you don't want it to go the way it does. You're already it's going to stress your relationship with your daughter. Now there's going to be animosity and anger, and it's not good.
Yeah. Okay, top comment. Not the asshole. She's 32. She's too damn old to be acting like this and getting pregnant without getting her life together. Am I the asshole for having a test on the first date and ending things right after, if not past?
A test?
A test.
Scantron?
The asshole, I don't think so. I think you can make whatever criteria you want. I think people are assholes when they're like, why don't I have love? It's because you have all these stringent things or you're not looking for the right things. They blame the world for their unrealistic things they want.
Yeah.
I don't think you're the asshole for making a test.
I feel weird about people testing.
You don't like standardized tests?
I don't like standard. I was never good at them, actually.
Tell the real reason then.
But that had nothing to do with people. Okay. I was always just guessing C and D because I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, the ACT or SAT, I think we did the ACT, winged it.
Me too.
But the college that I went to, it did not matter.
And got a perfect score.
I didn't get a perfect score.
But you got a good enough score that you could go anywhere you wanted.
Good score. But it wasn't perfect. I was trying.
So you got such a good score, you could have gone to like Harvard if you wanted to, right? Full ride, or just Nebraska.
Well, the scholarship I got could have took me anywhere.
Whoa,
I don't know if Harvard would have let me in. It wasn't that good.
pretty good
It
though.
was really good.
He's like,
And
it
when I
was
actually
good.
studied, I did worse.
Oh,
I took it twice. I studied and went worse.
am I the asshole for having a test on the first date and ending things right after, if not past? I've noticed a pattern when I go on dates with men. I tend to ask a lot of questions because I'm genuinely curious about other people and their lives. I love learning about what makes someone who they are. And I've noticed that when I show this level of interest, men usually really like me. But the thing is, it's often one-sided. Many of them don't ask me a single thing in return. Literally not even basic stuff like, what do I do? Or what am I interested in? One time I went on a first date where I asked all the questions, tried to keep the conversation going, and the second he was done talking about himself, things would go silent. He made no effort to get to know me at all. If I hadn't told him my name, I honestly don't think he would have known it. After that, I ended it and he was devastated. But in my head, that date showed he had zero interest in me, in my opinion. I think that to truly understand someone, you need to be curious and intrigued. Maybe I just crave to be understood and need attention, but I think it's rude to not seem interested in me, lol. This happened to me multiple times, and now I'm starting to see it as a bit of a test. If a guy doesn't ask anything about me, I don't want to move forward. So am I the asshole for this game and ending things early if a guy shows no interest in who I am?
No.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that actually people do all the time.
Yeah. Me personally, I wouldn't consider that a test, more so like a standard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, like, and it's so interesting to, like, it's easy to be just a good person. And one of those things is just having the common courtesy to either include or ask about somebody. Like, it's not that hard for me to say, yeah, answer the question, you too?
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that, like live stream
This Saturday, June 14th, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time with 10 subscribers.
Yes.
10 of them.
Yes. And I would like to actually call out 2 of the contestants because it wasn't that it was a big shock to me, but I didn't realize that it was not happening until then. But I remember asking all the interview questions when we were like, vetting all the people, and Rich and Ileana, they were like, yeah, what about you? And I think that's what made that interview go on for so long, because it didn't feel like I was interviewing to see if they were good for the show. I was just like genuinely in the conversation at that point. And it's just like, just simple things like that. It shows on a person, but then it shows to the other person you're interacting with, like, I care enough to be in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that it breeds intimacy when you're also sharing you're being vulnerable, sharing things about yourself with another person. If it's one-sided, one person can feel something and the other person not feeling, I don't know anything about you. Like, that's how any kind of relationship, you deepen it by reciprocating back to the person. And so if I'm with a person first date, the first time you're meeting me and you don't have any interest in anything I have to do, then that's a bare minimum of dating someone. Like, hey, I'm least interested in things you have to say or things you know. If you don't have that, then yeah, we're not going on a second date.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so weird to me because I'm like, I've been on dates. I feel like people go, oh, this is kind of good. I'm like, I feel like this is not that good. But it's because simply of me answering and then asking back the same thing like you would do with any human being.
Yeah.
Some people do just like to hear themselves talk and they blah and never hear anything back. Or they hear a little bit and they just turn it back to themselves again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think there's even there's sometimes, you can kind of fall into patterns where it's not that you don't ask for basic human courtesy, but it's like almost like an expectation that the answer is going to be reciprocated. Because I know that's happened with me and Maddie a couple times. Like she'll ask my day and I would say about my day, but then the conversation would pivot somewhere else. And then either I would have to go back and be like, oh, I don't think I asked. And I'm like, oh, how was your day? Sorry about that. But yeah, it all came with growth and just a little bit of just seeing yourself and being self-aware. Mm-hmm. But it was like, for me, it wasn't like a rude, I don't care. It was like I genuinely just was expecting you, once you asked, to answer too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also don't think you're the asshole. No. People in the comments agree. They're like, not the asshole. It doesn't sound like a game to me. It sounds like a reasonable expectation that a potential partner shows some curiosity or interest, which is like what you guys were both saying. I do think it sucks though that that's like her test where she's like most or half of the men, they don't pass. So she's like, so I move on. She didn't say that. She just said some men don't pass, I think. Right.
Yeah. That's all. Like, it's not a game or test. This is just normal. This is what everyone probably is kind of doing.
Yeah, because everybody wants to be included.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but been on some first dates. The silence.
I was gonna ask that. Are you the type of person who is willing to just let the silence be? Because I gotta fill that void, even if I don't want to.
Yeah, because it's more uncomfortable to me to like, I don't know what to say when you're not clicking, when it's not like, when it becomes like, oh, we're different people and I don't even know you enough to know how to get this started. I'm the worst at that. I'm like, a stranger silence is
uninterpretable.
Oh, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's likely not good because you're like, this should be the time where we have the most to talk about because we know nothing about each other. Mm-hmm. So it should be easy. And if it's not, you're like, oh man, I gotta get to the end of this.
There was a few times that I was like talking to somebody and I genuinely, like, my mind went blank. So I couldn't even think. Like, usually if I don't have anything to say, but it's like quiet, I have a question in my head that I can ask. But like, I can't remember who is the most recent person.
Do you play Sims?
No, I wouldn't. I don't ask random people that question. But I don't remember who it was. But it was like, I was so uncomfortable. Well, I wasn't uncomfortable, but I just didn't know them.
Yeah.
But like my mind went blank. Like I didn't have anything to ask them, and so I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I don't remember who it was.
And they're like, I also don't know what to say.
No, I think they kept politely like asking questions.
Oh.
And so I'm like, yeah. Okay. Am I the asshole for not telling my ex his passport was revoked and causing him to miss his flight?
For not?
Your ex.
Ooh,
that's petty.
That's so petty.
Oh, that's petty.
My ex and I have been divorced for 2 years. We have 2 kids, 8 male and 5 female. Everything was great until our daughter was born, and then it's like a switch flipped and he was a completely different person. I held out for as long as I could, but when he began an affair, I filed for divorce. He fought me every step, and it took over a year to finalize. During the divorce, I was awarded primary custody. He was ordered to pay support, which he has never done. I don't need it, but it would be nice to have it to save for the kids, so I did sign up for the enforcement. I don't badger him about it. I know to him it's a way to try and get me to talk to him. I just let enforcement do their thing. Since he's so far behind, they have suspended just about everything they can. They send notices to him when this happens, but I'm sure he doesn't open them. I'm a first-generation American, and most of my extended family still lives abroad. My grandmother recently passed away earlier this year, and I decided I wanted to visit my family with my kids and see her resting place. X and I had some back and forth because I need permission from him to leave the country. He agreed but made a point to tell me that he feels now is a good time to take a vacation and that he was always planning to visit my family's country. I was already anticipating this because following us is something he does every time I take the kids on a trip. My lawyer drafted a document to be signed and notarized that I was given permission to take our kids out of the country for specific dates. She also included a clause that he has up until 72 hours prior to the date of travel to revoke his permission, and he agreed to that. The day arrives for us to leave, and I get to the airport with the kids 3 hours before our flight. Things go smoothly, and I take the kids to a diner to grab some breakfast. X arrives much later as we're finishing up, and I get a call from him. Turns out his passport was revoked due to a lack of child support payments.
Oh.
He was denied at check-in, and there's no way he can get his passport reinstated without paying his arrears in full. He said that he can't go, and he no longer gives me permission to take them. I reminded him that we are past the 72 hours for him to deny my travel request. He said that he was going to inform an officer that I was trying to kidnap his children. I told him, do whatever you like, that you felt necessary. Officer did show up at the gate to figure out what was going on, but I had the notarized agreement with me, so they sent us on our way. He kept spamming my phone nonstop until we got on the plane, where I was able to turn it off and get some peace for the flight. While we were in the air, he called my brother to complain. We met through him and they're still friends, and I have now been given an earful about how cruel it is for me to continue with the trip knowing he wouldn't be able to follow us, and that I didn't tell him on purpose. My mother told him to stay out of it, and it's no longer my responsibility to remind him to open his mail, but some extended family agree with my brother. I don't think I'm the asshole for continuing our trip, but I am questioning whether I'm the asshole for not giving him a heads up that he should check his passport. I didn't know it was going to be revoked for sure, but I suspected. Am I the asshole? And then there's some edits.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I heard a little bit about it, but I wouldn't have remembered to know that. I feel like I've heard about that before, where if you don't pay your child support, they revoke almost anything so that I don't think you can leave the country.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
I thought they
nothing
just
about child
garnish
support.
you.
Yeah.
I didn't know they could stop you from dang. That's crazy. I mean, good. I like it. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
Especially if you got it in the mail.
Well, yeah. I mean, you had all these reminders. Also, I think she does mention this too about the control thing. That's all that this seems to be about, like this petty back and forth of making it as hard as possible for her to kind of just like get some space from this guy.
Yeah, it had nothing. The trip had nothing to do with you. This was to see my grandmother's resting place. You wanted to tag along, but the original reason was never for you. So if you can't go, that doesn't change our trip at all. We're gonna have a somber time, but a fun somber time in this country.
Away from you.
Away from you. That's good.
Yeah. Also, the fact that he tried to like ruin her trip by taking the kids potentially.
Yeah.
He was like, well, if I can't go, then the kids aren't going. It's like, okay, well, I didn't know that you made the full decision in this relationship when we agreed to this, and now you're going to try and get me arrested potentially?
Yeah.
That's dangerous. Like, thank God that cop was so chill about it, but that could have not been a good situation.
Right.
And he's just like weaponizing the police. And
did he actually call the...
Yeah, he called an officer came up to her.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that. I thought it was just a threat.
So she thankfully had the letter notarized saying, no, this is the agreement. Yeah. And so that's why she was able to leave. But yeah, and then harassing her with the calling.
And then we have another family member.
Oh my God, the freaking brother. Yeah, how about you take mom's advice and stay out of this?
Yeah.
Because your friend's kind of a weirdo. He didn't treat me right, and now he's like bothering me.
He cheated on me and then wouldn't let me leave after he cheated on me.
Okay. What do you guys think about how some women say, but I feel like I've seen on the internet how sometimes some women say men will try and trap you with a baby so that they can always be in your life. And like especially men that purposely like don't treat you very well.
Oh.
And like once you want to get away, they're like, well, now I have a baby with you, so you're always going to see me. Because in this example, I'll use it in this example.
Okay.
It seems like he's using the kids as like leverage to kind of constantly bother her. Like he was like, oh, I know I'm supposed to pay child support. I'm not. You can reach out to me if you want, but I'm not going to pay child support. So that's like kind of forcing her to maybe try and make contact. But she was like, thankfully, I don't need the money like that.
Right.
It would have just been used for their savings. So I can I can collect some of that myself.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to speak to you. What do you think about that theory? Have you guys ever heard about that theory?
I mean, I've heard about it
I think
just in general, like,
yeah,
but
both
it's being on
ways.
both sides. Like, it's
Yeah.
not specifically
A male thing.
Yeah, it's a man or woman thing. Like, anybody could be that.
True.
Because it's more of
Vindictive.
like, it's like the like having low self-esteem that you can't find anyone. So using a tool to keep this thing always in your life. Like why people stay in toxic relationships for so long because they might see it's dysfunctional, but they've like grown to crave that they at least always have this person to be in it with them. Whether it's going nowhere, there's no growth, there's nothing happening, but I crave that feeling of the toxicity. And I feel like men and women do that.
That's a good point.
Especially with children.
So in this example, do you think, I feel like that's kind of what's happening at this point.
Oh, he's definitely, like him not paying and like saying it to talk to her, like that's 100% this. And it does suck when one person's like, I'm done with this. I don't want to be a part of this. And the other person's like, I'm going to use any tool to stay in your life.
And make it as hard as possible
Yeah.
to detach from me. Like, I'm going to make it as hard as possible to detach from me, because you guys do make a good point. It could be literally any partner.
Yeah.
So I'll take that back to be like, that's what I've seen, but maybe that's just what I've been interacting with. But totally can agree that it can be any toxic gender to be like, nope, and guess who's not leaving this relationship?
Because I think I've heard the other side where like they'll have a toxic relationship. The man, I don't know if he's really moving on, but he's moving on. And the baby mama's like, well, you don't have his kid. Like that's how they're interacting with the relationship. Like you can do your little thing over there, but I'm the mom. And the same thing with the man. They're like, I got her kid. I'm like the dad of her kid. You can have fun with your little relationship. It's always going to be me in the end. And that's how people like live. They just live in this twisted relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think whether it's that theory or not, it does feel like it's just all about control, which we mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm happy that she was able to use like, you know, her lawyers or, you know, the laws.
72-hour rule is funny.
Yeah. It's almost like the lawyer's like, yep, make sure that that's in there.
That.
Yeah.
Make sure he signs that.
That's actually a good clause that in there.
Yeah. Because that's true too of like, so at the last second you're going to pull out when I just pay for their tickets?
Right.
No. I need at least 72 hours just in case an emergency happens. And edit to add, because I keep seeing this and I can't keep up with the comments. He can absolutely afford child support. He's self-employed, hence no garnishment, unfortunately.
Oh.
But does well. Him not paying is solely a control tactic. He was not happy about the divorce. He does whatever he thinks will punish me for going through with it. That includes purposely withholding support. However, I make decent money, enough to pay bills, put a little savings away for the kids, and take them to do fun stuff a couple times a year. So it doesn't really affect me. He knows that the money would go right to the kids' savings account, but expects me to beg him for it. Eventually, it will catch up to him and he'll have to pay it some way or another. It's just him prolonging the inevitable and making things more difficult for himself. Also, I don't know why this isn't clear, or at least for the one person that keeps falsely stating it over and over again in different comments, but we're not going on vacation together at all. Nothing was planned together. This was solely a trip for me and the kids. The document stated that it was for me and the kids and that I will be taking full responsibility for them. It was not and never was a we are taking the kids on vacation. That was made extremely clear to him and he understood. So him being unable to leave the country for his vacation had absolutely no bearing on our trip, as they were two distinctly separate travel arrangements. Which I think we also knew from the beginning.
Yeah,
We're like,
you gotta kind of be not reading or paying attention to.
Yeah.
Mix that up.
And then top comment, some people hate that there are consequences to their actions. He's the one who didn't pay his child support, thinking that he was somehow punishing you. Child support is for the children, so his not paying makes him an asshole. since they are innocent in all of this.
Yeah.
The fact that he got his passport revoked is entirely on him. He can moan and complain about it, but it all comes back to his actions.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I wonder else what they suspend.
And another comment, which we didn't really point out, but I guess it's something good to say. And why would it be on her to tell him his passport was revoked, even if she was notified about it? That's entirely between him and the courts.
Right. It got nothing to do with me. It ain't my passport.
Yeah, brother.
Mine's in working order.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to any country I want to.
And we're legally separated, so why would I know anything about that? Am I overreacting? Boyfriend made plans on my birthday.
Hope he doesn't have birthday plans for that trip.
Birthday plan, birthday date. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's worrisome for you. That's worrisome for me.
Only in the first, like, if you start dating in like the first month or so.
Okay.
I had an incident where it's like you went on 2 dates and then it's their birthday and you're like,
Oh. What do I do?
yeah.
Do I go? Do I?
Yeah.
Yours is understandable.
I feel like I made it more complicated in my head.
No, I think that makes sense to be kind of teeter-tottery. Like,
You're
I
like,
don't
is it
know
too
you
soon?
like that.
Yeah.
But I do know it's your birthday. What'd you just do? End up saying happy birthday?
I said happy birthday. I was like, hope you had fun with your friends.
Because also, like, if that were me and it was my birthday and I'm like dating a guy and I don't really know that much about him, I don't know if I want to spend my birthday with him if I'm like, I don't know anything about you yet enough to be like, yeah, I want to know that on my 20 whatever birthday, I spent it with this guy that I went on a second date with.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we'll go a different day. Okay, my boyfriend, 22 male, and I, 21 female, have been together for almost 3 years.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, yep.
We're planning on moving in together in the near future as he lives with his mom and doesn't go to school after dropping out. For context, he only works on Tuesdays and Fridays, so I know he was free to go out on Sunday, which happened to be my birthday. He knows how important special occasions are to me, such as our birthday and anniversaries. For the first year in our relationship, he was great. He was loving and kind. Last year, we ended up celebrating my birthday late due to the fact that he was tired from work and didn't want to go out, which I let slide. I always try to do the most for his birthdays. I buy him gifts, write him cards, and bake him a cake from scratch. Yesterday afternoon, I texted him, reminding him about the plan later, and this conversation happened, which I'll read in a second. He made plans to go out and party instead of seeing me. He forgot about it even after I had been talking about it all of last week. I spent my 21st birthday alone in my room while he was out, and we haven't texted since. This birthday was particularly special to me because I turned 21. I even bought a new pink dress to wear for him, assuming we were going out to dinner. He is suggesting that we go out and celebrate tomorrow instead, like last year, but to me, it doesn't feel the same. But he's insisting that I apologize for being ungrateful. Am I overreacting? And then there's text. So she said, hey, are we still on for tonight? And he said, wait, what's tonight? And she was like, are you joking? And he's like, bro, what happened? What's happening tonight? Oh my God. And she says, you can't be serious, boyfriend. It's all I've been talking about. And he's like, what the fuck do you want? Stop wasting my time and just tell me.
That's hurtful.
And she said, it's my birthday. I was hoping you would have been a good boyfriend for once and at least take me out to eat, at least. And then he responds and he says, happy birthday, LOL, I forgot. And then he responds to her, I was hoping you'd take me out. And he says, that's going to have to wait. I already have plans tonight. And she said, what plans? Over my birthday? You have to be kidding. And then to what plans, he said, going out to party later. I've been really excited for it, so you have to be understanding. And then he said, we can go tomorrow. It's not like it's a big deal. And she said, it's really important to me that we celebrate my birthday on the actual day. You're off work today, so I know you're free. Could you please just take me out? I even bought a new dress. I was really excited. And he said, I'm not actually free. I'm with my friends right now, so I don't appreciate being bothered by you. And like, you're making a big deal out of nothing. Can we just celebrate tomorrow? And then he said to the new dress, well, keep it for when we go. And then she said, all right, then I'd rather just not go at all. But thanks, though. And he said, you're being so extra and annoying. And she just said, I just don't understand why you'd rather party than spend my birthday with me. And he was like, yeah, bye. Talk to me when you want to apologize.
Break up.
Yeah, I agree.
Really? I think it was a really healthy conversation.
Year 3. Last year, he couldn't even do it on the day because he said he was tired, which she was understanding of. But usually if you're tired still, you want to be like, let's do dinner. It's a few more hours and it's your actual birthday. Or like, hopefully he made it up to her last year. But again, making it a habit again of being like, so I made plans. I'm literally out right now. So I'll see you later. It's like,
talk to me when you want to apologize is what he said.
And he was like, oh yeah, happy birthday, LOL. And she gives him gifts, writes him a nice card, and makes a cake from scratch. I'm not saying that he needs to do all of that because she does that, but at least have something that you want to do for her to show that she's important to you, unless she's not important to you.
He don't like her.
Yeah, it's so obvious. And if you're saying, how about you be a good boyfriend for once, you already lost. You're already done. You know that's not a very good line to say.
If you have to say that,
a good boyfriend and like for once.
For once.
You girl, you gotta go.
You need to go.
Why are you talking to us? Like, well, some people are like,
when you say happy birthday, LOL, that's end it right there, girl.
Also, the fact that he blatantly was like, you're bothering me.
Yeah. He does not like it. There was no love in that.
Yeah.
There's no like in that.
he's probably making fun of you behind your back.
Yeah. But the age makes sense to me.
Yeah, the age makes sense, but it does suck that he decided to do that on her 21st birthday. Because that's also like another reason of like, if they're in the States, usually people make a big deal about your 21st.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they haven't even talked since then.
Just keep that trend going. Just don't do it for
don't
the
ever
rest
talk.
of your life, I think.
Yeah.
I think maybe leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts?
No,
This was a yeah.
heck of an episode.
We were yeah.
It may seem like
This was a lot of
30
off-camera
minutes,
yapping, yeah.
but it was way longer. We've aged.
2 hours and 47 minutes to be exact, but it was a lot of private off-camera yapping that was happening. All right, so that's the episode.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys Saturday.
Can't wait.
Yep, we are gonna go do our Patreon video right now.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys Saturday. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know if I have enough space.
Hey.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Hey.
Ready?
Oh. Hey.
Ah.
Dang.
Hey. Hey.
Okay. Yay!
The cat turned over here. Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, you got it from all angles, Madi. There's cake over here.
I was gonna say for most of the time there was cake back there too. He decided to. Tonight's stories.
Girls' night out.
Free meal.
Promise money.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Maddie, and I'm here with
Brando.
Sam.
We will see you guys this Saturday, June 14th at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have 10 subscribers. We're going to be doing a live reading and reacting with and all of you guys, of course, in the comments. So come join us, come support the other comforters, and we will see you guys for this extra long live stream. If you're in the Apple Store, maybe consider switching to Patreon because you might be saving money just going directly through Patreon instead of the App Store. This is us from the end of the episode, so we'll see you guys in a little bit. We hope you enjoy the episode.
Just hit the like and subscribe just for that.
My date asked for me to pay for a free meal, and I refused. Am I the asshole?
How that work?
Like they got it for free and they're like, can you give me the money that it would have cost?
Now that would be a twist.
I went to go meet a guy for a first date at a restaurant that he chose. We met in the parking lot and he had a medium-sized box with him. When I asked him what it was, he said it was work-related and the restaurant owners were clients of his. He was a salesman for something. He disappeared for about 15 minutes while I was being seated. It was a bit awkward to be sitting at a table alone for the first 15 minutes while he double-booked our date with work. When we sat down, we chatted a lot. He wasn't ready to order for the first 30 minutes we were at the table. I decided to be a good sport about it, even though I had been sitting at the table now for 45 minutes, and I hadn't even ordered anything but water yet. During the chatting, he admitted to me that he trades goods for free meals at the restaurant. If, for example, the goods he is selling is worth $100 retail, the restaurant will give him a meal worth the same. He said the cost of the goods are much lower than the actual retail price, just as the cost of the restaurant for the meal is lower than the menu price. It made sense, we ate, and for a few reasons other than the meal trade, I had decided we weren't right for each other. The following day, when he texted me, I let him know that I didn't feel a spark, and I would not be seeing him again. He then told me that I owed him money for half of my meal. He said it was customary if a woman decides it's a one-time thing to have paid for her own meal. I would have sort of agreed, but in this case, he didn't even pay for the meal at all, so I'm not sure. He's talking to me as if I had an agenda to get a free meal out of him before I even met him. Am I the asshole for not paying for my meal when the restaurant didn't even bring us a bill? Edit to add, there was nothing shady in the box. It was ink cartridges.
No, block him.
It was ink cartridges. Sorry, Oscar.
Block him. Just nah.
Yeah,
Don't deal with that foolishness.
Especially if it was a restaurant that he picked. I feel like if you offer to pay for the meal, I mean, obviously
what is
it
this
wasn't
customary thing. I've never heard.
It's not. It's something in his mind.
Well, OP was like, I kind of almost agree with it. I'm like,
you're being too nice.
Yeah, that's way too nice. Because that seems more awkward if you were like, oh yeah, this is a one-time thing. The person that you're like, oh, this is a one-time thing, I have now to figure out, facilitate money exchanging back to you because I didn't feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't think it matters if you paid for it or not. No.
I agree. So top comment, there was no bill from the restaurant and I wouldn't trust any post-meal invoice or calculation he comes up with now. He's salty you don't want to see him again and is making up this shit about a single date rule. Block his number. At least you now have another bizarre dating story to tell friends. So.
Yeah.
I let him come up with the invoice and then send him a request for the money he just asked for.
Oh, trick him.
And then he's like, pay no. And then you block him.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I saw a comedian do it once, but they're like, the scammer was trying to get him. And so he was like, okay, how much do I need to send you? And so the guy sends him the amount he needs to send, and he sends a request for the amount instead of paying the amount. And since he was on autopilot, I think he got the dude, he accepted the send request. So the scammer ended up sending him money, and then he blocked him.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, I got advice for the guy. If you're going to do this, go 15 minutes before.
Actually, that was like the next comment.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to be a good impression. If this is her first date, that's not a good impression. So nobody wants to sit alone at a table for 15 minutes. And to know you're there and you're just that would infuriate. I'm like, it would be hard to come back from that in a day.
Yeah.
It would be hard to be like, and like laugh. Even if it was good from then on, I'm turned off.
Yeah.
By 15 minutes sitting alone.
But I think he needs to work on a lot more than just that.
Well, he
The
doesn't
customary
like it.
thing
Yeah, the
is-
customary thing's crazy. That's wild.
Where did he pull that from?
Because it feels like icky to me, and I can't place why. I mean, it makes it feel, I guess, transactional. But I don't know exactly how to place it.
It is transactional. Like, since you didn't
Now
go on the second date, now you owe me money.
Yeah, and because I paid for you, I expect to go on at least a second date.
Oh yeah.
But now that I'm not going on a second date, now you owe, it just I don't know, it feels
Yeah.
weird.
I've been watching Love on the Spectrum, and the dad's like, the purpose of the first date is to get to the second date. And I'm like, I don't think that's advice. Oh, the animation girl, her aunt was like, hey, you should take a shot of tequila before this date. And then this chick's making out with the guy on the first date. She's like, I love you. And she starts making out. I'm like, that tequila probably.
It did not help.
Because her second date, she was like, I need to like take things slow. I'm like, you were drunk on tequila, girl. You took a shot. Her aunt's like, yeah, this will help you relax.
Look at courage.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for offering to make sweet 16 favors for my coworker's daughter and scaling down what I was planning on doing after she was rude to me?
No. Especially a coworker's daughter, you don't owe her nothing.
Yeah.
You
You lucky you got anything from me.
You don't owe
I
her.
scaled down. I didn't stop. I would have stopped.
I think I would have stopped
a
too.
coworker?
From
I
the
would've said
title, I
no.
would have stopped. Yeah.
You don't mean nothing to
For
me.
a coworker? Yeah, right.
I run a small family party business from my home as a second job. My coworker is a single mom with 5 kids. Over the years, I have offered a few times to make party favors and decorations for her kids' parties as a gift. Things are a struggle for her, and I just wanted to do something nice for her kids. I buy all the supplies, and my labor is free and is their gift. The scale and cost of everything changes depending on the event. I do this for my nieces and nephews as well. I enjoy doing it, and I think it makes people happy. A few weeks ago, I offered to make sweet 16 favors and some decorations for a small restaurant party for my coworker's daughter. One night, I FaceTimed with the mother and the daughter, and we were discussing colors. She picked light blue and light pink as her color scheme. That's not colors I normally would associate with a sweet 16, and I mentioned it to her that I was concerned it would look more like a baby shower. She snapped at me and said, I want light blue and light pink. Okay, got it. A few days ago, I was speaking to the mother that I wasn't finding a lot of sweet 16 items in the color scheme. She picks up the phone and calls her daughter on speakerphone and explains to her the issue. The daughter abruptly says, what part of light pink and light blue does she not understand? I know she's a child and has had a rough road, but am I the asshole for not going the extra mile making them? I offered to make favors and I will make sure they are beautiful, but any joy I had making them is totally gone. Normally, I would do a couple of surprises along with the favors, but I just don't have it in me, and I feel terrible for being upset at a child. I feel like I'm such a terrible person. Any advice on what I should do? Because originally, from the title, I was like, I probably wouldn't do it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But I think if you said you were doing it, I understand why you're like, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it at the level that I promised and nothing more.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it kind of takes the fun out of it because it's not a job where no matter what, a customer shouldn't be speaking to you like that.
Right.
But if you're like, okay, well, you're paying me,
Yeah, they pay
so
you money.
it's whatever.
Yeah.
But you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart as a present for, you know, your coworker's daughter. And for me, I would just be like, okay, that was really hurtful. That was upsetting, whether it's a child or not. Going forward, I probably won't be offering to do stuff for them, at least not for a while or not at all.
Right.
So I don't think she's the asshole for stepping back a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, no. And then it's like one of those things too, you gotta check yourself because for like parenting style stuff, because I would have been like, oh no, we gotta have this conversation. But it's like, if that's not the way your parents are raising you, there's nothing I can do. You a coworker. Like if it was like a cousin or something, okay, it takes a village. You're a part of my family. No, I'm about to tell you why you're wrong. But this is like just another person of another person that you kind of know.
I love the way you just said somebody's child. This is a person of another person.
Yeah.
So I really like that. That's good. I've never heard that before. That's really creative.
Thank you.
You never heard somebody's child?
This is a person of another person. I've heard somebody's child before.
Okay.
I don't want to call it lazy because it's not creative. It's not new.
Yeah.
But what that was creative. It was new. It was taking a chance. And for me, you landed.
I don't know where Maddie is sometimes. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not family. It's somebody else's kid.
Yeah. It's not. So it's not your job to not even help parent, but just to
Like correct them.
Yeah, correct them. So I think what OP did is fine. Yeah, me personally though, I'm pulling out. I'm not dealing with that.
So
You're
you would be
rude.
like, you know what? Never mind.
You know what? I couldn't find them at all.
Mm.
Sucks to suck.
What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have pulled out if I said I was gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not against you. Like, yeah, I'm just not putting any energy in it. It's just I said it. I'm like, I gotta do it because I said it. At least it would have to be more egregious than what they said for me to pull out. Because it's like rude, but I don't think it's rude enough to be like, screw you then.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did something more, or if it was like another incident similar to that, then I'm like, okay, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting a free thing and now you don't even appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. For anybody that is thinking, no, I would have just stopped. I understand.
Yeah, I get
For
it.
me, I'd probably be like, I'll finish this one job and then I'm probably not going to be like, no more free ones. And even honestly, for a while, I'm just like, oh, no, I don't have time for it.
Right.
I can't.
Actually, I probably would have done it. But then after that, been adamant about never doing for free again.
Yeah.
Because then after that, it's like, fool me once, but then fool me twice, then it's on me. You know?
Yeah.
Like, because when you do stuff for free, you're liable to a lot of things. You're liable to people you're not meeting people's expectations, and then you got to do more because you didn't meet their expectations. But it's like, if it's like a paid contract and stuff like that, if this is what I agreed to, this is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I got the paper and stuff to back it up. And you bought the paper to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you paying for it, I'm going to do the best I can. But hey, if it's free, yeah, you kind of set yourself up. But I also feel bad too, because it seems like, yeah, it's like out of the goodness of her heart, because the coworker is struggling with 5 kids, is what she said, right?
Yeah, and she said she does it for everybody. Like, she does it for her nieces, her nephews. Like, that's her way of giving the gift.
Yeah.
Is planning the party favors. So
I was almost against OP a little bit at the beginning because definitely rude after when they're like, yeah, I can't find a lot. And they're like, did I stutter? It was pink and blue. But the first time when they're like, I don't know if pink and blue are common colors. Before they looked, I'm like, at that point, I'm like, did I stutter? I did say pink and blue.
I think that's funny because for me, I immediately would have been like, I would have thought I was walking to a baby shower too. Only because light pink, like, I don't think you're wrong, but for me, I think I would have at least had the same initial thought to be like, really? That gives me like baby shower, not. And then the correction,
with that, but
like,
I'm
okay.
If it's my party, I don't want a baby shower looking party.
She actually is. She's gonna announce she's 16 and pregnant.
Dude, I miss that show, man.
It was a crazy show.
That was good.
Thank you.
It was bad for the world, I think, though.
It was, yeah. Also, it added a huge struggle for the moms and the parents.
Yeah.
But entertainment wise,
oh my gosh, the way I was in 16 and pregnant, I love 16 and pregnant.
And maybe for some people, they're like, hey, a lot of people at 16 are getting pregnant, whatever. But some people, that was birth control, like this next story.
Ooh,
I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did that.
Look, that was so good.
Because there's an update. There's an update.
Dang.
So I just felt like I was
good,
like,
though. That was really good.
It was just right in front of me.
Too.
Yeah, I was
You
like,
get that
it's not
crisp,
applicable.
Yeah.
Crisp transition.
She said, it's birth control.
Okay, so top comment. Not the asshole. I have no problem with you scaling down your efforts, but I do have a problem with you keeping silent about how you've been treated. Tell her you didn't appreciate her snapping at you, and you don't appreciate her daughter talking down to you like that. And remind her that you do this as a business, and that you were going to give her these favors as a gift. But even if she was a paying customer, you expect to be treated with decency. If you're certain you want to go through with the favors, you can tell her you're going to do this for them because you said you would, but you do think you deserve an apology. If not, you can just confront her about the behavior and see how she responds and decide how you want to proceed based on that. And then there's an update. There was technically an update in between this, but OP kind of like summarizes everything. And I didn't personally think it was that big of an update to like have to say everything. So I'm just going to take what OP summarizes in this third update.
Okay.
Synopsis.
Yeah. So, am I the asshole for offering to make Sweet 16 favors for my coworker's daughter? Update. A few weeks back, I asked for advice. I offered to make Sweet 16 favors for the daughter of a longtime coworker/friend. She was having 20 girls at a small restaurant. The favors were my gift, and I had a $150 budget. My friend/coworker is a single mom of 5. I just wanted to try to do something nice for my friend. I have a small family party business as a second job, and I thought I could help. I fully admit I'm a doormat, and I offer to help people way more than anybody would offer to help me. It's hard for me not to offer help. I had FaceTime with the mother and daughter to discuss colors for the favors. The daughter said she wanted light blue and light pink. I told her I was worried it might look like a baby shower. She then rudely answered back, light blue and light pink. In my previous post, a lot of people criticized me for being negative about the color. As I explained before, I didn't really care what color she picked. I was just worried it would look like a baby shower. We had one more negative interaction, and I decided to do the party favors I promised, but I decided not to do anything extra. I was thinking of going to the restaurant and setting up tablecloths and chair covers. I know this child since the day she came home from the hospital. I was very upset about our interactions. She knew this was free and that it was a gift to her. So the party is this weekend, and I brought the favors to work today. I made 24 pink gift bags with blue tissue paper and matching wired ribbon. Each bag had chocolate-covered pretzels, chocolate Oreos, and chocolate marshmallows, labeled chapsticks, cute pink sunglasses with the birthday girl's name on the side. My friend thinks her daughter's going to love them, which I'm happy to hear. As I walk away, she asked me if I could do one more favor for her. She wants me to do favor bags for her boyfriend's daughter's bed party. A bed party is for high school senior girls. Their friends bring them swag from the college they were accepted to, and they decorate her bed with the school colors. Honestly, I was floored. I had never met this girl, and no, my friend did not offer to pay for the favors. I told her, I'm sorry, but unfortunately I can't. She said she understood, but the last few hours, things have been weird between us. The old me would be making these favors. New me says no. I have to remember no is a word, and I have been pretty good about saying no to people since my last post. The only thing I have agreed to is 2 raffle baskets for a childhood cancer fundraiser and 2 baskets for my kids' school's fundraiser. I know I'm a work in progress, but today my friend reminded me that I needed to think of myself first.
Yeah.
So
I brought a lot more context than I feel like the original story did.
yeah, does it change knowing that she's known this little girl since she was young? Like literally born?
Yeah. For me, it does. Because in that whole piece I was saying about, well, you can't really... I feel like that's okay. Like a really close friend. And yeah, like, hey.
Correcting her daughter of like...
Yeah. Or you don't even have to do it. Yeah.
Don't speak to me like that.
Don't speak to me like that. Yeah.
Well, she's a self-proclaimed doormat.
Yeah.
She is.
So she probably wouldn't be able to do that. Man.
I sadly feel like because she's saying she's a doormat, she's known this child ever since she was born, that like the child probably knows that.
Yeah.
And so the child just thinks she can say that because she knows she's not going to say anything, which is kind of worse, to be honest. She's like, oh, I mean, I talk to you like this all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's good that you finally said no.
Oh, for sure.
The fact that she asked you for another favor. How many favors is this woman asking of you to do when this is a business? I thought it was like maybe once in a while, but it sounds like it's a pretty consistent thing. So yeah, I'm definitely happy she said no to another favor.
Yeah, it's funny. There was, I haven't mentioned it in a couple episodes, in the Platonic book, there's a generosity chapter about like being generous with friends. And a lot of people subscribe to the giving tree generosity. The giving tree like just kept giving more and more of itself, sacrificing itself for the little boy. The little boy kept asking, kept taking, and at the end like gives up everything. But the tree's happy that the boy's happy. And a lot of people think that's what generosity is like. Even if you don't feel it, like you just keep giving and giving. And it seems like that's what OP is like, I just give until I can't give. And that's what generosity is. And I'm doing good. And you're like, no, especially in friendships and relationships like that, it was like, it's not selfish to have like a generated interest in something being reciprocated back. And it doesn't have to be like an actual gift or anything, but like energy back to you. Like you're doing good because it makes you feel good or something good comes from it. Everything does not have to be selfless. Like that's not what generosity is. And she was pulling all these studies are saying like people who do feel like better and have better relationships, feel happy, generally do get reciprocal because they're doing things for people based on the level of their connection. Because I don't know how even close this person is. Like, this is a coworker. She has known the kid for a while, but I'm like, is it a coworker relationship where...
She said coworker / friend.
Yeah.
Like, what is that level? Because I'm like, it's different. Like, for you two, for me, I'm like, I would do more for you than people that I would seem acquaintances. And that's fine. But some people are like, if I know you at all, I do things that I would do for my closest friends, and then they feel hurt because they don't get the same reciprocation back. And I'm like, we're not close like that. You did that because you thought it would make you feel good, not even accounting the level of relationships that we're at. And then I become bitter after because I'm like, I'm doling out my energy to people who don't deserve it. So I'm glad that OP is like realizing like I did learn how to say no. And like, that's something you need to realize, like, especially this is your business and you're doing this thing that has a value and you're just doing it for, hopefully this is a close friend, but you're doing it for coworkers, you're doing it for anybody. This is a thing you do. Realize that everyone's like, if you don't have the relationship, it might feel shitty like this.
I would also say that OP probably needs to, because the friend also asked about, who was asking about the other thing?
The same person who their daughter.
The friend, yeah.
The friend was for another daughter?
Yeah, it was her stepdaughter.
Stepdaughter? Okay.
So not the same daughter. So OP didn't even know this daughter.
So, like Sam was saying, like, you know, it's all about the energy. But then you also have to like really, really pay attention to the energy that they're giving, right? You have a business. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Okay, you have a business and your friend not only I guess you offered the first time, but then they asked something else for free. Be very wary of that, because a friend should want to support a friend.
Yeah.
So if they have a business and they're like asking stuff, oh, let me get the friend discount, that's not cool. Because you're saying because we have some sort of closeness that the value I bring with my product, whatever I do, is worth way less than you would pay for anybody else. And that's a crappy feeling. 1. 2, some people know the difference between like acquaintances and close friends and stuff like that. And if you're calling her a close friend, but she only sees you as a person that she can get free favors from. So she's nice enough to you to a point when she gets what she wants. That free favor. And the only reason I'm saying to pay attention to that, because, you know, we only get a small portion of the story, but it's the fact that she acts different after you didn't give her what she wanted.
Right.
Yeah. I also think, would this change for you? Like, okay, so let's say you were OP. You guys said originally we would all probably finish it and then be done. Would you reconsider if OP's friend was like, hey, I want to ask you something else. Would you be able to do this for me? I'm willing to pay you full price. Like just as a customer, but can you do this thing for my other daughter, my stepdaughter? But it's full price. She's not asking as a favor. She is asking as a customer. And she mentions that up front.
Because that changes the tenor. I'm like, you actually see the value.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a Skrilla getter.
Yeah.
We go after that Skrilla. And the fact that you see me as the same value, yeah, we can make this work out.
Yeah. I was going to say the same because I feel like it comes with a level of, like you're saying, supporting the business. If you're coming from a level of, I did want to ask you to do something else, but, you know, like mentioning it beforehand, I don't want you to do it for free. I know you don't know this person. I want to do it, you know, however much it costs to do it. Just let me know, you know, something like that.
And that like shows, if the person said that, like shows a level like emotional intelligence to even do that. Because the one thing that I do stress to OP is, and I think top comment says, like, you need to tell them. You're not even really giving them the opportunity because maybe in their head it's not a big deal because this is a history of what the relationship's been like. There's never been a need for them to do anything. But if you voice, I did not like how your kid talked to me. Mm-hmm. I didn't enjoy any of this. And I'm telling you that, like, I like spend my time, there's value in this. Mm-hmm. Then maybe they'll have the opportunity to be like, yeah, I would pay for this in the future.
Yeah.
But they don't really know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do have to speak up too.
I do think you do need to speak up. Or I was gonna say, or end the relationship. It's probably good to speak up. If you want the relationship to live, you should say something. If you're ready to like never pursue, be like, just be done with it, I guess, kill it off. I guess you don't need to speak up, but she's probably gonna wonder. But
I think it's important for her to speak up just for this one thing. When you get the practice to do it, it becomes a lot easier the further you go on in life. But then too, it's a double-edged sword. It'll get easier for you because you have the practice, but then it'll also reveal who that person truly is. Because some people won't be as nice, i.e. the story, when she's acting distant, when they don't get what they want out of you anymore. Mm-hmm. Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Am I the asshole for insisting on taking my daughter to the doctor for birth control at 17?
No.
As a non-parent, I feel like that's becoming more normal that people are doing that.
Yeah. I grew up extremely religious. Abstinence was the only option. I had a miscarriage at 15. It scared me away from men in general until I was 20 and met my husband. We were using condoms, but forgot a couple of times. How do you forget? Okay.
I was confused in one sense, like abstinence was the only option and I had a miscarriage at 15. I'm like, something happened in between there.
Well, she wasn't properly educated.
Oh, okay. Because she didn't follow the one option. That worked. That's foolproof.
I got pregnant 2 times without a condom. We decided to have the baby, got married. I got on the birth control pills after, but I have a bit of ADHD and forgot a few pills. We had a second child. We loved her. He was thrilled. I was on Depo-Provera, a birth control injection, but it was causing issues. He decided to go for a vasectomy. A week before the vasectomy, I found out that I was pregnant.
Oh my God.
So our third and final child. The moment my daughter told me she had a regular boyfriend that she loved, I took her for an implant. I want her to get through school and not be a pregnant teenager. In my opinion, it's better safe than sorry. She was also very willing. My mom felt this was basically granting her the privilege of having sex this young. I've discussed how maybe it's not the best idea right now, but I'm not an idiot and know she'll do what she wants. She's 17. I was 14. She's even more stubborn than I was at that age, but she's way more cautious. So the moment I realized she had someone she thought she was in love with, I took her to the doctor. Am I the asshole for this? If I had seen the signs before this age, I would have taken her earlier, but she didn't.
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
Yeah, the asshole for it?
Because the grandma, her mom, is being like, you're basically giving her like a sign that she's like allowed to have sex at 17.
Well, Mom, what did you do when I had a baby at 14? Did you let me do that?
She didn't let you do it, but she also didn't agree with you doing it. She just told you that you shouldn't be having sex.
Stopped it. It didn't stop it. That's
I agree.
my thing.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably increasingly happened that people realize the whole abstinence, like purely abstinence is the way to go, it kind of ushered like a boom of children. There's a lot of children born. I feel like in school they were teaching us that. They, even in human growth and development, I guess they talked a little bit about contraceptives, but not really.
Yeah, they just talked more about STDs that I remember.
Yeah, they're just trying to scare you to stop from having it.
I think that's where the first technique in horror films came up, where they were just playing like a certain type of music as it's just like Brad and Andy are just like sitting behind a tree doing something, and then like a pop-up of like an STD on like a penis, and then it goes away really quickly, and then there's like a music score to it. I think that's where they maybe got that horror technique from, was all being scarred.
Oh, I still remember, it's seared into my brain. It was like 7th grade, and they were showing us STDs, and they were showing a syphilitic penis, and the camera panned around like in a circle around it, and I'm like, this is crazy, right? And it was the grossest thing, and I'm like, the cinematography was top notch though.
Okay, I don't remember that stuff.
Oh, I can't. That specifically, and Degrassi. I remember watching Degrassi, but that I'll never get the image out of my head, because I remember there was a hand holding it. It's like holding it.
I remember
it was. I was like, I'm in 7th grade.
It's like a different color hand too, so you know it's not his. The doctor's like,
oh, guy.
Somebody like smacks his hand away and puts the right
like
color to the right.
Coming, like multiple hands are like trying to grab it. And they're like, you don't see it attached to anybody. It's just hands going like,
I have syphilis. They just all just
like,
disappear.
Yeah, they're like, oh. And then one hand's like,
no,
doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, no, I remember first time seeing a penis on like a TV screen when we were learning about human growth.
First time, like, you saw yours, right?
And I remember because they showed it, and one of the kids was like, that's kind of small, and half the class was like, yeah, it's not that. Mine doesn't look like that. And it was so bad. It was just a horrible turnout, because you could tell the teacher was like flustered. He was like, oh, okay, guys, no, shut up.
Yeah. I don't know. I think coming from a pretty deeply religious background as well.
Yeah.
I also think that's probably the best thing to do. Because if I was sexually active when I was in high school, I think I would have rather been using like birth control.
Yeah.
Compared to potentially having the choice of, do I have a baby or do I have an abortion and deal with the mental toll of either, you know? So that's a big decision to have a kid make when they could potentially, or a teenager, when they could potentially just be on birth control, you know? And hopefully there's ways that you can
steer them in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, because like everybody direction. Like has different experiences when like they're a teenager, and I'm not saying like one is right or wrong. Like, but people learn.
I think you have to know your kid too, because like for me, I'm like, I had girlfriends in high school. There was no chance I was having sex with any of them. Like I did not have sex in high school. There was no chance. So I guess it's sometimes hard for parents to know, like, but my mom was in like, I don't think it was like a testament, or she just did not talk to me about sex at all. Yeah. So that could have backfired. But I was like, your boy was not doing it. And so there was no, if she did give it to me, that might have been like, you can do it. I don't know. I don't think I probably even would have still done it if she was like, hey, here's contraceptives. Yeah, because the only thing I always thought that the story was going to, like, that could potentially be an asshole, is if the daughter wasn't on board, like, getting an IUD.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like, I don't want to force the daughter to get something that's invasive.
Yeah.
Because, like, an IUD is different than, like, taking a pill, which also deals with you hormonally, but it's such a big thing. And I'm like, you're getting an IUD. I'm like, whoa. just because you're the parent doesn't mean like you can force this thing onto your kid's body. I think, but
Yeah, it's definitely a
but
big
she was
decision.
on board with it. So.
Yeah, big decision either way,
Yeah.
whether you have that talk with your kid and they're on birth control or no. Like, it's a big decision. But I don't think with you talking about your experience of why you got to that decision, I don't think that's a bad thing for you
Yeah.
to be like, I was a child once. I know what happens in high school, and I'm just making sure that you're protected because I didn't know anything about
I got
it.
3 kids because I'm confused.
Yeah.
I gave you 3 different examples of what happened because I didn't have birth
days
control.
do I take I don't know what day I take it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like something along that lines of like, you know, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, because yeah, like coming from a religious background as well, you know, it's taught not to have sex before marriage, but that's about it. It doesn't, like, there's never been like in-depth teachings on like, you're going to feel that fire every once in a while.
Yeah.
And especially if you're younger, every single day, every hour you're thinking about doing something. It's never talked about like that raw. So like, yeah, the birth control is probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
And even those
Or
experiences,
talk about it.
what?
Or talk about sex more.
Definitely talk about sex.
Definitely
more.
talk about it more, but also,
Because I can't say like, I think we were raised the same. Like nobody was talking about it.
No, the only time I actually heard about sex, besides like whatever you consume on like TV and stuff, like
Yeah.
I was watching a lot of MTV, so there's a lot of stuff you can learn from TV of like, okay, I get the gist of what's happening. You know, birds and the bees, no, but MTV, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the talk somehow.
Yeah, I'm watching Next. I'm watching Room Raiders. I know what they're doing.
but even with the talk, you know, there's still
There's definitely,
urges.
there's definitely still things to talk about.
Who you want? We know.
Yeah. Yeah. Am I the asshole for calling off my wedding after finding out my fiance never had the money he promised to contribute?
Oh.
Ooh, that's spicy.
To the wedding.
To the wedding.
Oh.
That's spicy.
I, 33 female, have been with my partner, 32 male, for 5 years. He proposed in March 2024, and we agreed to get married in December 2025. He promised to cover 70% of the wedding costs and said he'd transfer money to my account whenever I paid for something. I ended up handling all of the planning and bookings. By April this year, I had already paid around $500K local currency, but when I checked, he hadn't sent me a single cent. I kept reminding him, and he was always saying, yes, baby, after work. I work at an accounting firm with over 40 clients, so I'm insanely busy and didn't have time to double check every day, but I trusted him. When we finally sat down to talk about it, I found out that he didn't actually have the money. He planned to ask his parents or use future income, meaning he had been lying about having savings. All this time, he bragged about being financially stable and successful. He's a lawyer, but apparently it was all talk. I understand that people can go through tough times, but lying about it and letting me carry all the burden, that felt like betrayal. I decided to call off the wedding and the relationship. Now he's throwing the wedding expenses in my face, even though I did all the work. My parents think I should go through with it since the engagement has already been announced to the family. No. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for calling it off? I feel heartbroken, used, and honestly fooled. And seriously, if you can't afford to get married, why propose in the first place? Parents, are you kidding me?
You already got engaged.
You guys got engaged. Just go through with the wedding. No. This is one of my last chance
Yeah.
to really knock this off before
Yeah.
anything gets too expensive.
I need to know what currency they're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't
Because
know.
what's 500K seems like a lot.
a lot for a wedding.
Oh my gosh.
You lying about the finances is the parents don't make sense to me at all, actually. Because why would you willingly let your child go to somebody that lied about finances, so much so to the point like they're not contributing at all? Like for me, I'm like, oh yeah, come back home, don't worry about him. It's gonna be a hard few months, but we gotta figure this out because he lied about finances in the beginning before it even starts. Oh, you got a rough road ahead of you.
Yeah. I don't feel like you're the asshole for that. I think that's a totally valid reason to leave a relationship.
That's a good reason.
You know, a great reason in this sense. You find out that he's lying about, you know, it's not like she's being like, oh, you don't have any money? I'm leaving.
I can't make it broke.
It's like, no, you lied saying that you had money. And the fact that you completely lied to me about something so big, that's a really big issue.
Yeah.
And now I can't trust you. And trust is like one of the most important things of a relationship.
Yeah.
So I think that's a totally valid reason not to do that. I think the parents are foolish.
And some people say like it takes the romance out of it, but I truly believe it's like a business merger. Like marriage is a business merger where two people coming in together, they're joining everything together. And when you're doing a business merger, each company looks at the finances, they look at the books, they look at the stability of it before they merge together. Mm-hmm. If I'm getting engaged to you, we need to know what's your situation. Do you got student loans? Are you in debt? How much, like, what's your budget look like? Like, how do you live day to day? That's something we need to know because we're joining together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's good. That's what the engagement, even maybe before probably engagement, that might be nice, but definitely in the engagement period, like before. Engagement does not mean we have to marry. So you found out. I'm happy you found out now.
Mm-hmm.
This has an update, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, I'm going to be heated if the parents aren't in the update.
They're married.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to do that.
Married.
Okay, so this is an update from May 21st, 2025, which is 8 days later than the original post, which is like 8 days ago. So about a week ago.
About a week ago.
Parents tweaking, ho. Update.
That was good.
That was really good.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the support. I didn't expect my post to get so much attention, but reading your responses helped me feel less alone and more validated in what I was feeling. It's been a week since I called everything off. He's been texting and calling nonstop, flip-flopping between apologizing and then guilt-tripping me. At one point, he said, "We can still fix this. It's just money." But it was never just about money. It was about the lying, the manipulation, the months of pretending to be someone he wasn't, and letting me drown financially and emotionally while he played the role of the dependable fiancé. I'm staying with a close friend for now while I sort things out. I've cried more than I thought possible, but each day I feel a little lighter. The fog is lifting. His family finally reached out, trying to mediate. His mom even asked if we could just scale down the wedding instead of canceling it. I told them very calmly that there is no wedding to scale down. I'm done, and I mean it. I've started looking through everything I paid for, checking with vendors I can cancel or get partial refunds from. It sucks, not gonna lie, but I'd rather lose money than lose myself in a marriage built on lies. My parents are slowly coming around. My dad said something last night that really hit me. He said, "It's better to disappoint people for a moment than to disappoint yourself for a lifetime."
Well,
I don't know what comes next, but I know what I left behind, and I know it was the right thing to do. Thank you so much again. You really helped me a lot.
What was that last time?
She said they're coming around. It is a little late, but it is something, I guess.
Sure.
Sometimes, like, I don't know if this is true, but like sometimes when you see a crumb of not necessarily positivity, but change in the positive way from your parents, you've kind of got to be like, yeah. I mean, I know before you might have had this stance, but
I think so.
You're changing even in a little bit in a positive manner towards like the situation.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need to be like, hey, I appreciate you saying that, because I don't know. It's like a good way to be like, yep, come on. Mm-hmm.
I think that you're exactly right about that, Maddie, because they grew up in a different time. They have different values. They have different traditions. Marriage is very important to them. Maybe in the past, you don't just get out of an engagement. That was not a thing that you did. So they're like, just for the good of I'm not saying it's right, but like that's how they feel. And you're like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm younger. I think differently than you. I don't think that's a good thing. That didn't help a lot of people in the past who just got it through an engagement after major red flags. We're going to be different. And your parents were like, hey, actually, maybe you're right about that. I think like half of my friends just went through with it and they're all miserable now. Maybe I don't want my kid to be miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going through
Changes.
There's another season.
I know.
It's like 8 seasons.
That's so
I didn't
weird.
realize it was going for so long.
Season 8, right?
Yeah.
I never really got through past the first few episodes for me.
Oh, I still watch it.
I didn't really enjoy it very much, but maybe I need to rewatch it. It was just kind of weird.
No, I think if you didn't like the first, you'll never like it.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's girls' night out included her friends' significant others, so I feel left out.
Oh, that's
So
Unless are they the friends lesbians and their girlfriends came?
they're not.
Oh,
that's
the only way. Yeah, it sucks, man.
I mean, that makes sense. It's still girls' night out at that
I'm like,
point. But
That's
dang,
hurtful.
That is her. They're like, not you.
So, to make a long story short, my girlfriend of nearly 3 years has always had her girls' night out every 2 to 3 weeks or so, which is perfectly fine because I've always had nights where I did stuff with my friends as well.
The lads.
We're all in our mid to late 20s, by the way. But yesterday, while my girlfriend's friend and her boyfriend hung out at our place, the boyfriend referenced something that happened on Saturday, which was her last night out. I was confused, and after a bit of probing, found out that not only is he a regular on these night outs, but her 2 other friends bring their own boyfriends as well. It's just me who has never been asked, nor even informed that these girls' nights outs weren't the just need to be out with the girls for a bit relaxing nights as she used to claim. Literally a few weeks ago, we talked about her upcoming night out with them, and she told me something like, sometimes I just really need to be with just the girls. Of course, I asked her once we were alone why she never brought it up or why I had never been invited, but she just kept claiming that the guys weren't always invited, and most of the time they just tagged along. Honestly, I feel pretty alone and disrespected right now. Plus, even now, almost 3 years later, I feel like I'm barely in her friend group. I feel like if they were all meeting up anyway, I could have been there and maybe have become friends with them as well. Unlike her, I do invite my girlfriend around to do stuff with my own set of friends a lot. Now it seems like it wasn't just the girls she wanted to see, but rather she just didn't want to spend this time with me, while her friends had no problem spending their time together with their boyfriends. I really don't know what to think or what to do. And then there's comments and an update.
Ooh.
I think it's weird. And I think it's... I don't understand how there's no way for the girlfriend not to think that if her boyfriend were to ever find out, he would feel left out.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if it really is happening, as she says, where it's like, you know, it was just going to be the girls, and there's been at least 2 times in a row now where the guys come. At that point, I'm like, so guess what happened? So-and-so and so-and-so came tonight. Like, immediately, like,
Yeah.
what is it? What happened?
I didn't know about that.
And then it's like, you know what? Maybe it's going to be girls' night, hopefully. But if it's not, maybe would you want to come? You know, like something, or like, I'm just going to bring you because it seems like it's everybody comes.
Yeah, it's free for all.
I don't know if this has been happening the whole 3 years. 3 years is a lot for that to happen potentially.
It's very long.
But yeah, it definitely seems fishy. I feel like he has every right to be upset because it seems weird that she would hold out on him
and
this
then
information.
Paper over it. Like, oh yeah, I just need night with the girl away from you.
And like, oh, they just like brought him a few times. It's like, okay, so they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when she goes out of her way to be like, I just need the girls. Like,
Yeah.
just the girls.
Going out of your way and papering over it, that makes it even more like
weird. Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's tough for me because I'm like, I am a big proponent of girls' nights and lads' nights. I do think it's good to try to maintain relationships outside of your romantic relationship. But at least I would say, yes, do what Maddie said. Bring it up.
Yeah.
Like, because it's weird that you find out third party, like you find out out of hand and Now it does seem weird. It seems very shady.
Yeah.
Do you not like me? And it's probably telling that you're like, I don't feel like I'm a part of their friend group. Like, I feel like,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's common for people, but I'm like, usually you have somewhat of a good
Somewhat.
rapport.
Something.
You don't have to be like best friends,
Yeah.
but you're like, I could talk to this person.
And they're like, I know after 3 years, I
Right.
know of them fairly
I know
well.
of them, yeah. I know.
Whether it's what you're telling me and I've met them like multiple times
Right.
now, I can hold a conversation with them. 3 years?
Especially, yeah, if you're hanging with these people every 2 to 3 weeks, I feel like I should know them as your partner. Like, I should also have somewhat of a relationship with them too.
Yeah. Do you guys have any idea of why she wouldn't tell him?
He's not a girl guy.
He's not a girl guy.
Yeah. As a girl guy, I get invited to all the girl things, and it's
Yep.
like not a thing. And some guys are not. Some guys are just like,
You, Steph, and Brandon.
yeah,
Invited.
because I know there's boyfriends who are just like, I don't want to be here, and they just have the attitude like they don't want to be there, and they're like, then why'd you come?
Some people just go for the vibes.
So he could be like that. I still don't think it's like you still should have told him, but I'm like, I know from being a guy who's hanging around a lot of girls that there's guys that are like, it's just lame when he comes.
Yeah.
So that could be a reason why it's like, I'm not inviting you because you're not. And the guy who was talking, they love him. They're like, he's so fun.
Yeah.
You're like, remember that fun thing Connor did before? He's like,
Is it crazy though that it's like every other guy but
yeah,
Chad
that is crazy.
or OP?
OP. It is kind of. That's what's crazy. That is crazy. A
But-
3-year relationship.
But he could. So
what are
you're
we
saying
doing? What are we working toward? You can't even tell me this. I get being hurt because I would be hurt too.
Yeah.
I'm hurt for him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's fishy. I think it's something along the lines of like, I feel like she's embarrassed of him somehow, some way. And it could be what Sam's saying, like the actions behind how he would be, or maybe just him as a person.
Mhm.
Or, like I could be soft at home, but with him I have to be or that she's putting on a front with her friends,
Yeah.
and she doesn't want to have to show the real side. I don't know.
Yeah. When I read this, I was like, something's weird, but I couldn't pick what it was.
It's not good.
If the whole friend group is like if she's like the whole friend group's helping her cheat, that's crazy too.
Because I feel like we had a story like that.
We did.
Yeah, that was bad. Because that was a guy's night out.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
We had a story like that where it was basically like a guy's night out, but then I think OP found out that there were girls there. Either it was fully a guy's night out, or it was a guy's night out, but then the guy's girlfriends were allowed to be there. He just didn't invite his girlfriend because he was actively cheating on his girlfriend.
Dang.
So he was using that opportunity to find women to hook up with.
Dang.
Okay, so relevant comments from this commenter. I think you're entitled to feel bad. She has been masking going out with her friends under girls' night. There's nothing wrong with her wanting to go out without you, but the lying part makes it weird and borderline disrespectful. I don't think this is an isolated incident, and you feel hurt because there have been other incidents, right? And then OP responded, I don't really know. I mean, everyone has their preferences and their own character. She's always been a bit more cold in the way she acts than my previous partners, but I've never thought that she'd feel like she needed this much of a break from me and the relationship as a whole. As I said in my post, I wouldn't have had an issue at all if this was just a girls' night out and if she really did need to have a bit of a break. But she was literally meeting up with her group of friends and their boyfriends. I genuinely can't imagine going out with my extended friend group twice in a row without even asking my girlfriend to be there with me. More often than not, she comes with me. So I just don't really understand why she wants to separate me from her side of her friends like that. I just don't know how to feel right now. And then there's an update 2 days later. Hey, so first of all, I just want to thank you for your comments. I couldn't reply to all of them due to the thread being locked. I read through them all and I did what I probably should have done directly when it first happened. I went and I talked to her. To make a long story short, there were never any girls' nights out. There was always simple nights out with her friend group. So why wasn't I invited? Because they all hate my guts due to her own fault, according to her. My girlfriend said back when we first started dating, she'd always vent to them about me. All these small issues we fixed between her nights out and literally never talked about again was all her friend group knew about me. Issue after issue, but never how we fixed it together as well. She realized that as well and stopped venting about me, but at that point, it was, according to her, too late. They'd always joke about me behind their backs.
Oh.
The feeling I'd had of being ostracized on the rare occasions where one of her friends would hang out at our place wasn't just a feeling after all. They do really hate me. I simply wanted to know why she was okay with that and why she wouldn't stand up for our relationship. She said she wasn't okay with that, but what could she do? Her friends would have shit-talked her if she'd said anything. Not only that, but her friends have me as the butt of all of their jokes. In their minds, I'm incompetent, an impotent buffoon. All these fucking side eyes I got when I would talk to any of them wasn't just in my imagination. I talked to my girlfriend back then and she'd always say, it's just in your head. To be honest, it made me mad that she was trying to be the victim in the situation. And I don't know why, but finding out that they despise me and my supposed to be girlfriend is tolerating it and wouldn't defend me made me really, really upset. If I'm being honest at this point, I kind of mentally checked out and I already knew that I won't allow the disrespect and that this relationship is already over. Yet there is so much I just don't understand. So I simply asked her why. Why would you be okay with any of that? Why wouldn't you either stop being friends or literally demanding them to stop talking like that about us or about me? All she said was, you know how I am. I don't really like being the center of attention. I just kept quiet. Finally, I asked her if anything would change going forward, and she said she could try talking to them individually, but she said it in such a timid way that I don't think for a second she'd actually meant it. Anyway, long story short, I broke up with her. It sucks, and I really feel bad about myself right now. I've always tried to be the best version of myself in this relationship, but knowing that there is a whole group of people out there who literally hate me, and that one person who was supposed to love and defend me no matter what, yet didn't, kind of sucks. And then somebody asked in the comments, so I gotta ask, what was her reaction to being broken up with? And OP responded, she cried and she begged me not to, but as I said above, I asked her if anything would change, but even she wouldn't budge. I was 99% sure I was going to end that talk broken up with her, but after seeing her reaction in the actual talk, just justified it so much more. She left for her best friend's apartment and hasn't messaged me yet, but to be honest, there isn't really anything she could say to change my mind. I loved and still do love her a lot, but I'm still trying to process her friends more or less bullying me indirectly and her literally just being okay with it. That isn't the kind of person that I thought she'd be, nor the kind of person that I want in my life. Wow. So it just like snowballed. Because I do feel like sometimes people do that where they complain about their partner and then they go home and they work it out and then they forget to. I feel like that happens very often.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had conversations with my cousins before where they tell me something bad about their partner and I'm like, I hate that guy.
Yeah.
And then I don't know it, but for 5 years, I'm like, this guy freaking sucks.
Yeah.
He did this like 6 years ago.
Right.
And apparently they're working it out, or at least they're staying together.
Right.
And I didn't realize. And so now whenever I talk to him, I'm like,
yeah.
And just to have that snowball, I feel like if it was a good friend group, whether you made that mistake, you should be like, guys, I didn't tell you this, but all that stuff, we worked it out. We've moved on from it. You need to stop saying this and this and this. You need to stop making these jokes.
Right.
Or choosing to leave the friend group if this boyfriend is
friends.
important to you. But the fact that she didn't, I think it shows that the relationship with the friends was way stronger than the boyfriend.
Right.
But yeah, that sucks.
Because I know what you mean. Like, there's definitely your friends say stuff and you're like,
what?
How dare you treat my friend like that? But I think as I've gotten older, I'm always on my friend's side, but I'm always like taking more of like, but I'm hearing their side.
Mm-hmm.
Because before, like, I would be like, I'm hearing the truth.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'm hearing their version of the truth.
Mm.
And even though I'm still going to more likely be on their side, I like give the benefit of the doubt, which also helps when you do have a relationship with the other person.
Yeah.
If you're only getting the other side, then there's no hope at all. But if you hang around the partner, then you're like, oh yeah, I see this. Most typically you'll see like, oh, this person's a human being and they're just like a normal person and these are relationship issues they have. That doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means whatever issue is happening in the relationship. Mm-hmm. And that's usually the truth. There are sometimes you meet them and you're like, no, you suck. You're actually the worst.
Yeah.
And then you tell them that. But for the most part, I'm like, most people are people. They can make mistakes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It came to one friend and would always come to me with their relationship problems. And I think I'm kind of like on Sam, what you were saying. Mm-hmm. Now, I think a lot of people that come to me for advice, either they get annoyed or they're like, okay, I know if I'm going to Brandon, I'm going to get the truth. And a little bit of that truth is looking in the mirror. Because now the first question I ask, I'll listen to the story. And I think I've even did it to Madi a couple times. But like my first thing is always, well, what could have been done? Like, what did you do? Because there's two sides to the story. So something had to happen on your side. So like, I guess I'm saying more so from the friend's perspective too. That's just, to me, it seems irresponsible after a while. Like if one of the friends if one of the friends in our friend group was like constantly coming with relationship stuff, at a certain point we're like, okay, yeah, you got to figure this out. Like first few weeks, yeah, like maybe a joke, a jab here, but after a few months,
right?
What are we doing here? Are you going to figure it out or not?
And especially at the beginning too, because you saying all this trash at the beginning of the relationship, that's weird. That's already a red flag to me where I'm like, giving the friends the benefit of the doubt, I'm like, dang, you said all this bad stuff at the beginning. We never met this dude. And then we get in there, like, usually at the beginning, that's the good stuff. You're like, oh my God, he's like this, he's like this.
Got butterflies.
Yeah, the longer you get in the relationship, that's where they're like, you're like, oh, he did this. But I'm like, at the beginning, all you told him was bad stuff. It would be hard for them to be like, okay, he's good. Yeah. You can't start off with so much negativity.
No, I understand that. Yeah. I think in general, it's just because I feel like to a certain extent, I'm not talking about with everything, don't tell your friends. But I think there's some things where if it's like a little thing that you're probably going to work out within the next day or two or like week, don't tell your friends, don't tell your family. And I know that might sound really broad, but I'm talking about like little fights where you're going to make up. I'm not talking about things that could maybe put you in danger or anything like that, where it might be holding back of like, oh, well, if you would have told me this, I could have told you he was toxic or you were being toxic or whatever. I'm talking about like, I don't know, little arguments that you get in because you're in a bad mood and you're like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later today. And you're like, no.
Yeah, especially since it's like isolating too. Like she could have had a bad moment and then just went straight to the friends night.
Yeah. She could have had a bad moment.
Yeah, she could have just had like a bad moment. They had like a petty argument, and she went straight to the friends' night with a petty argument. And then they get all those claims of like incompetency and stuff when it's like, no, it was just a miscommunication.
And then she gets home that night and she was like, OP is ready to talk about it. It's like, babe, like, I'm sorry. I was stupid.
And she's like, thank you for this great resolution. Let's move on from this.
And I'll see you guys in 10 days.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing. I've never really heard of a person doing this so, and it's like it's so careless it seems malicious. But when it comes to like protecting in public and fixing in private. Yeah. So it's like you fix it in private and then you just don't say nothing in public. It should go like that. But this seems like so careless that it could seem harmful.
Yeah, especially like you're saying with how much it's happening and the fact that there seems to be no defense of like, okay, guys, like that happened 6 months ago. He doesn't do that anymore. Like, I feel like that would be really easy to kind of refute as time goes along. Yeah. It doesn't have to be like a big thing of like, okay, Jennifer, I need you to really stop saying this thing about Mike because, and Robert, if you don't stop making fun of Mike. You know, it doesn't have to be like a big, it could be like, okay,
enough.
Super dramatic.
Stop. Seriously.
Or say, because I feel like with relationships that my friends have been in, there's positive things being said and there's negative things being said. If everything's negative, you're not giving a full balance of a picture. They seem like a Disney villain. They have no redeeming qualities. Usually like, oh, I like this about them and I like this about them. And then the question is it weird that they did this? Yeah. And you're, well, based on these positive qualities, maybe it's because of this and this and this.
Yeah.
Or it could be something that you need to look into. But I have nothing to compare to because you're only telling me the fights you have.
Yeah.
Or if you tell fights, be like, listen, I'm gonna be like, I was a little bit toxic. I was picking at him.
Yeah.
I was picking at him. So it's like, I get why he got there. Like, if you are gonna vent to the group, tell the whole story,
real,
or be like, listen.
What did you do?
I got a little upset and I was picking at him at the end.
Yeah.
I was picking at him at the end. I called him short.
I
like him short, but I did call him short.
What?
And I know he doesn't like to be called short when we're not in the bedroom. So I just, you know.
Yeah, you say you're so short when you lay down in the tub, your toes and your chin are in the water at the same time.
When you're so short, when you lay down in the tub, Brienne of Tarth can still fully get in.
Yeah.
And it's a 5-foot tub.
It's a 5-foot tub.
You're so short, you need a step stool to get into the tub.
Ooh, that's the best one. We're going with that.
We're
going with that. But yeah, I understand why he's upset. I think it's the best thing for him to leave this relationship. You need a partner at the end of the day, whether they start the problems or not, to defend you.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. If I started something, I surely need to be the one to fix the problem. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, I don't want to be in a relationship with a person like this. I'm like, I want you to protect me in this situation.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, and then plus, you know, there's some qualities like you could have like a list of good qualities, but the second you start listing the bad qualities, those good qualities can fade.
Yeah,
like you're like, oh, like I don't know, he lied to me once, but he does all this. Well, like I guess lying's a bad thing, like a bad thing to compare it to, because that's something you should definitely check, but. He's late all the time, not punctual.
I don't like the way he chews. Is that a good one?
Yeah. I don't like the way he chews. Yeah. And it's like, oh, well, we can't take him to this fancy restaurant we're about to go to. And it's like, but he's got all this other things. He's punctual. He dresses nice. He's good conversationalist. And you just don't like the way he chews. But sometimes some of the bad qualities will start to like fade out the good qualities.
Yeah.
But it's like even worse because you haven't given any good qualities.
Yeah.
Because especially if I'm your friend, I'm looking at you like you're dumb. Because I'm like, what? I have gotten that with friends who just say the negative things. I'm like, then it's not on them at all. They're being themselves. If they're this bad, that's them. Why are you with them?
Oh yeah, I'm good for it.
Yeah.
Then break up. Well, you know.
And I don't know because you've only literally told me bad things.
Yeah.
So what is this? What's the deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
So top comment. I bet that this ex is never going to admit what she did and never going to correct her friends once they start calling OP a monster, and that she deserves better. It's hard to blame the friend group for that. She poisoned the well just fine on her own. He even has a shoulder to cry on. It's hard to judge when to be sympathetic and let your friend run the frustrations out and when to tell them to look in the mirror.
I don't think girl wouldn't have survived in our friend group.
No.
She would have hated us all.
I don't think we have a treacherous friend group.
Killed her.
No.
Oh, the way you said that, she wouldn't survive. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a treacherous friend group by far, but I think we would all become like, you don't have anything positive to say about him?
I think we're all just too honest.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, I don't say everything to people's face.
Yeah,
say
you
it
don't
with
say
my
everything
face.
to people's face, but
I've
it's like
several times about things that I wanted to say.
But I mean, when we all have like a group consensus on something, then we're all like, hey, we should all talk about this. And it's happened a couple times.
Yeah.
So we're about to go film our final story on Patreon, which I believe has an update.
It does.
But we just wanted to give you guys a reminder that we are on Patreon. We do, the free episodes every single week, which we will always do.
Facts.
But if you guys wanted to support us more, if
see
you
it a
are
little bit
supporting
earlier.
us specifically on Apple, Apple Store?
Yeah.
On the Apple Store, you might be able to support us for a cheaper rate because Apple basically charges like a $2.50 service charge fee or something if you order directly through the Apple Store. So I think if you were to go to patreon.com or like there's a link in our description and purchase your subscription directly through there, it should be the price that we set originally. So like for the second tier to get these extra stories that we have each week, it's $5.
Yeah.
But if you order
Apple
it,
charges 30%.
and I believe that's $7.50 for us. For the $5, I believe that's $7.50. So you're paying $7.50 to them. You're paying an extra $2.50 to them. But if you were to go to patreon.com, sign up on Patreon directly through there and not through the Apple Store, then you can get on Patreon for a cheaper rate, the actual rate.
And send the extra money to me. Just Venmo me, I think.
And do what you want with that. You don't have
Cash
to.
out me.
I'm telling you this so you can get out of $2.50. But if
just
you want to
send me a
support
DM and
Sam,
I will give you my Venmo and we can get that.
Just
going.
send me a snack. I'll be cool to snack.
okay. And
since we're asking things of you, our live streams this Saturday.
Yeah.
Come through, y'all.
Yeah.
Come through 100K celebration live stream.
100K.
We're doing it
Yeah.
big. Yeah.
We got 10 subscribers on with us.
Count them.
It's going to be a long live stream in a good way, in the best possible ways. A lot of stories. And we'll see you guys Patreon right now because we're filming your video right now. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Just hit the like and subscribe. Just for that.
Subscribe.